Today's the big day. We removed the engine. So, I always wanted to do this, but I was always intimidated by it. There's just so many different steps, so many things that could go wrong. And then you could always pull it out and can't figure out how to put it back in. But now I don't have a choice but to learn how to do it. So I'm actually kind of excited.
So I have to apologize for the video quality. It's not the greatest. I just set up the camera in the background due to a time crunch and just got cranking away on the car and removing this engine. Anyways, the first thing we did was drain all the fluids, drain them all over the floor. It's a good spot for them.
Oops.
So the oil came out, followed by the coolant. Here you can see me pulling the radiator out with the assistance from my pops. The intercooler was next. If you want to see more detailed instructions on removing it, here's a link to it. Next, the fuel lines, and as you can tell, I didn't drain the fuel out.
The whole car. Alright, the whole engine. Yeah, it's coming. Ah, mother trucker. Look at that hangnail.
Next, we work on the alternator. The struggle with the connector begins. After a few minutes, my dad comes to the rescue.
You don't know how to take that off?
It's so stuck, man.
See how easy it was. I just have to say something.
Yeah, exactly. Hi. Happy, baby? Hi. What do you think? We getting somewhere?
Oh, connectors, how I love you. So with the AC condenser, we actually leave the lines attached and don't drain the refrigerant, and we just move it to the side, the whole condenser. So the camera is about to die, but the only thing I really miss is removing the last bolt just behind this one, and then taking the condenser and moving it off to the side out of the way. Here's another stubborn tube that I can't quite get off. And I'll show you how to apply more leverage. Just watch closely. Or we can watch the back of his ear. This is the coolant turbo overflow, and because these are such Lego cars, Subaru just added a whole nother little reservoir for the turbo models. Or at least I think.
There's oil and there's also poop.
Here we remove the power steering pump. And that great view of my back there, I was saying earlier. Sorry for the video quality in this one. Here we move on to the power steering lines.
Yeah.
To get the engine out, you actually have to move the pitch stop because the transmission needs to be moved and actually jacked up a little bit. And then finally we can undo the transmission bolts. There's 4 on either side, and then there's 2 nuts at the bottom. And this would be a good time to check and make sure you have everything disconnected, because you don't want to break any tubes or wires or anything. And the shaking and pulling and twisting and tugging begins. Eventually we pried it off using a pry bar. And then just getting the angle correct with the transmission jacked up and pulling back on the hoist and eventually it'll pop off. And there we have it apart. So in the next video that's coming up, we're gonna repair the engine, replace the broken part, and then put it back in. So thanks for sticking this far in the video.